All right. We're getting to my favorite part of the show. So you think you're smarter than a rhino? This is the part everybody loves. This is an opportunity. I just want to say this. This is an opportunity for learning. All right. We're not here to make folks look any kind of way. We are here for our audience to make sure that they are increasing their financial literacy and IQ. So I just want to preface this segment with that. Yes. Are you ready? Are you prepared?
I am ready.
All right, as prepared as you're going to be. Good. The first question is, what are the 5 factors that make up the credit score?
Okay. The amount of debt you have. I mean, credit, how many accounts you have open. Your payment, how a lot of times you pay on time.
Yep.
What'd you say?
Payment history. Yep.
Yeah, payment history. How long you've had stuff open.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm at 3.
Yeah.
Debt. How long you have stuff open. Oh, what they get you for every time if you open something new.
Inquiries.
Yeah. So inquiries. And then
I actually think you said all 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
First one you said how much debt, which is utilization, and then you said the kinds of credit.
Yeah.
So, all right, yeah. Boom. First question down. So for our audience, utilization. All right. If you have $100,000 across the various lines of credit and you have balances of $30,000, then you've utilized 30% of your overall credit limit. So utilization is a major factor in calculating your credit score. Then you have kinds of credit. Do you just have credit cards, which are revolving lines of credit, or do you also have loans, which are installment types of credit? And in those loans, do you have a mortgage, or is it just personal loans and student loans? So the kinds of credit that make up that profile play a significant part in compiling or creating that credit score. Payment history. Are you paying on time? Every time, right? That one's kind of length of history. Younger folks are going to get a ding on this, but if you open a credit card or if you start building your credit at 18, the older you get, the stronger the score becomes because future creditors want to see that you have a long history of making those payments on time and engaging in various lines of credit. And then the last one is inquiries. Are you constantly using your credit? If so, what are you using your credit on? Who are you allowing to pull your credit score as they start to review you as a potential borrower? So inquiries would be that 5th one. So, yep, A+ on the first question. Question number 2, what is the average down payment amount on a primary residence as a percentage?
Is it 10?
It is not 10.
Oh, is it 20?
It is 20%.
Dang it. Okay.
20% for a conventional loan is the average amount of money that's put down in order to acquire a primary residence, and that's primarily due to private mortgage insurance or PMI. In order to avoid having to pay PMI, you have to put down at least 20% on the home. All right.
I'm doing pretty good.
I think so. Number 3. What's the difference between being rich and being wealthy in your own words?
Okay, so, I should know this answer.
There is a RINO definition that we're going to give, but yes.
So rich is measured by money, kind of, sort of. Based on what I have watched a video on, and being wealthy is measured by time, but maybe I got that wrong. No?
That's
Maybe did I get it backwards?
don't sound stuff. That is correct.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Being rich is measured in money. So if you make $250,000 a year, but you have $300,000 a year worth of expenses, you're still considered rich, but you're living paycheck to paycheck. You're having to take out loans in order to maintain your lifestyle. It's just not a good place to be. You make a bunch of money, but you're spending all of it. Versus being wealthy, you can make $50,000 a year, but your expenses are $50,000 a year in passive income, but your expenses are $50,000 a year or less, which means you no longer have to trade your time for money, because the way your money is coming in, you're no longer trading your time for money. It's coming in passively. So maybe you have rental properties. Maybe you're taking distributions on securities that you've purchased, whatever the situation is. As long as you're no longer trading your time for money, then you are considered wealthy. Rich people still have to trade their time for money in order to make that income. So, yeah, that is correct. Good job. Next question. How is your net worth calculated?
I would say it would be like based on all of your, I would say like your assets and properties and all those things over your debts and stuff. Like, what do you owe? No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Assets minus your liabilities. Everything that you own minus everything that you owe. So it is possible to have a negative net worth. If you don't own anything except for a car with a little bit of equity in it, and you owe hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt, then your net worth could be negative, and in that case would be negative. So yeah, my job here, the number one metric that we use to measure success is someone's net worth. We're not too concerned about their income. We're not too concerned about their credit score. We're not too concerned about a bunch of other things that other people may be concerned about. We're trying to increase that net worth as much as possible so that you can achieve wealth. So yeah, what you own minus what you owe is how you calculate net worth. You're on a roll.
I know.
Holding it down for the medical professionals. That's really cool.
Trying, y'all. I'm trying.
Next question. What is one example of an employer-sponsored retirement plan?
403B.
Yes, correct.
Oh, okay.
403. Try to whisper.
With 200?
Yeah, 200, Alex. Yes, 403B is one example of an employer-sponsored retirement plan. The most common is the 401k. Yep. For people that are in certain industries, you have a 403B, you have a 457, you have a SEP IRA, and then those really round out the employer-sponsored plans. Not employer-sponsored plan examples would be an IRA or an individual retirement account that you could go to any provider, your local bank, and open one up. So, yep, 403B is one example of an employer-sponsored retirement plan. Last question. What does RINO as an acronym stand for?
So I'm going to get this right because part of my job is to do research.
Awesome.
Real education, investments and performing assets, no bad debt, oversight of these assets.
Absolutely correct. 100% correct. You're killing it. We want everybody to understand the importance of education and a real education because, one, reading is fundamental, but you got to make sure you're reading the right stuff because unfortunately there are things out there that are written by people who have ulterior motives and are just trying to sell you something versus trying to educate you and increase your financial literacy and IQ with applicable information, or information that you can go out and use immediately. And so that's what we do here at RINO Invest. When people become a RINO by subscribing and opening a Club RINO Plus account, they are choosing to invest some time in real financial education. With the 4 courses that we currently have in there, we have an entrepreneurial personal finance course, which teaches people how to treat their personal finances like an entrepreneur would. So it's not just for entrepreneurs, it's treating people in various professions how to treat their personal finances like an entrepreneur, as well as real estate investing. If you are interested in becoming a real estate investor, we have something for you. If you're wanting to be an entrepreneur or a business owner, we have a start a business course. And then we have Secure Your Securities, which is the most popular asset class. Not to be confused with the number 1 asset class, just the most popular one, securities, because it has the lowest barriers to entry. So if you're interested in how we recommend people invest in securities or in the stock market, we have a course for you. And then really understanding the difference between an asset and a performing asset. So if you've read Robert Kiyosaki, have you read Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad author?
Don't fuss at me now.
Highly encourage you.
I know.
Highly encourage you to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant. It's a great book.
I have the book though. 2 points now.
Half a point. Half a point for just having it. Now let's open that thing up and collect that knowledge. But Rich Dad, Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki talks about the difference between an asset and a liability. He would say that your primary residence is a liability because it costs you money. If you have a mortgage, you have to pay that out of your pocket. You'll always have to pay taxes and insurance. So it's a liability because it's money coming out of your pocket. We still classify it as an asset. It's just not performing because it has equity. So on your balance sheet, it sits there on both sides. If the fair market value is $300,000 and you have a mortgage of $250,000, you have $50,000 worth of equity contributing positively towards your net worth. So it's still an asset, but it's not performing. It's not providing you with cash flow. So understanding those differences between an asset and a performing asset is critical in achieving a higher net worth so that you can become wealthy. And then getting out of bad debt. The number 1 bad debt for people in your profession, do you want to take a guess what the number 1 bad debt is?
Student loans.
Student loans. Got to get rid of them. Knock them out, as quickly as possible. If there are programs like the one you're engaged in where if you go work for a certain type of employer, they pay it off, that's great. Incorporate that into the plan. But if you're not in a profession that provides opportunities like that, knock out your student loans. In terms of credit cards, highly encourage you to use them, but never carry a balance. Always pay it off in full. So you want to get rid of that bad debt. And then there are things that are considered good debt, like mortgages on performing assets. So not a mortgage on your primary residence. I understand the necessity for one, but that is still considered to be a bad debt. But a mortgage on an investment property where someone else is paying you rent and that rent amount is paying the mortgage, that would be considered a good debt. And then oversight of all of that. You got to have oversight. You got to know what you've just done so that you can continue to maintain it and grow. So that's RINO. That's what RINO stands for. That's what we do here at RINO Invest. We encourage folks to open a Club RINO Plus account so that they can receive real education, so that they can invest in performing assets, so that they can get out of that bad debt, and so that they can know how to manage and provide oversight of that portfolio. We thank you for playing, Dr. McNair.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, thank you for sharing all your knowledge and your experience with our audience. There are a lot of good nuggets that they have here that they can take away and do great things with. And until next time, we appreciate it.
You're welcome.